Okay, so here's the interview. So this is the lore interview that we want to go ahead and take a look at. Okay. What's the first week of alpha like for Blizzard? The whole team is excited. Wow, okay. All right, cool. So let's see what else there is. Tell us about your job at Blizzard. Been working at Blizzard for 5 years. Working in gaming for 17 years. And by excited, what they mean is equally terrified and probably partially overworked. But, you know, hey, excited maybe every once in a while. It's like putting a baby into the world. All right. Let's see if your current job meets with many teams and hear their ideas and just vibe. So they're just vibing. Okay, it's cool. We got some cool guys working over at Blizzard. They're just over there vibing with each other. Is the Sylvanas loyalty line officially over in BFA? I would hope so. I would fucking hope so. The Sylvanas loyalty line officially over? Yeah. Like, of course. Holy shit, yeah, duh. You can't keep spitting story threads forever. You need to pull threads back together sometimes. The 8.2 finale was a good time to make the nice epilogue. Yeah, going forward, Blizzard wants there to be a unified story so everyone understands what Sylvanas is up to. Choice wouldn't really make sense anymore. That's true. However, there might be some flavor moments here and there, alluding to your character's choices with the Sylvanas story when interacting with NPCs. Yeah, people will be like, oh yeah, I remember you. You were the person that caused this stupid shit to happen. Yeah, no, it's like basically, as I said, if you're a Sylvanas loyalist, what they should do is add a separate cosmetic option for you to carry her fucking purse. Like really, that's what they should do. Like a new equipment slot, like how they have the backpack, and just replace the backpack cloak with a little purse for you to carry around with her. You know, I'm serious, dude. Simp loyalist. No, for real, man. Like imagine supporting Sylvanas. What a bitch. Shadowlands questing is more linear than BFA thoughts. The story in Shadowlands doesn't lend itself to player choice. Oh, that's good. But Blizzard may consider different storylines in future situations. That makes sense. That does make sense. Okay. You will progress through the story in a logical, linear way in Shadowlands. It's meant to be a laid out narrative arc, culminating in Revendreth. Okay, after the cool event in Revendreth, you will make your covenant choice. You can choose a covenant right away on alts and then quest in whatever order you'd like. So basically, the quest line is a very defined experience that Blizzard wants you to go through in a particular way, but after you do it the first time, you can go back and just, you know, just fuck my shit up, fam. Basically. And that's fine with me. Maybe you support the position of War Chief and not Sylvanas herself. How's this any different? Okay. So what about Hitler? You don't just support the war chief. What kind of a moron? Okay, you know what? Let's say that's you. Hey, dumbass that can't think for himself. We just decided to make a goat the war chief. He says that you have to go eat grass. So, hope you're hungry. See ya. Fuck that, dude. That's the dumbest goddamn thing I've ever heard. That's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard. Yeah, right. Okay, let's go ahead and move forward. All right, you're a war chief. Yeah, what a bunch of bullshit. The army does it for us right now. Oh, are they eating grass? All right, next. You won't experience every corner of the zones in the linear storyline, so you'll have opportunities to return to the zones and discover new quest lines and storylines after, like Maldraxxus. I hope that the end game content that they have planned for us, for like Maldraxxus or whatever, actually gives competitive items and good rewards. Because if they don't have good rewards that are tied to these end game quest stories, nobody's going to want to do them. And they're either going to be like compelled in a weird way or something else. So I hope that they really make sure that they think very, very hard about how to incentivize the in-game questing without making it like shitty. I think Suramar is a really good a good way to measure things. Yeah, do it kind of like Suramar, I would say. Okay. We're not Night Owls Blackwood. Listen, guys. Like, there's no reason to even talk about this. Like, Sylvanas is a fucking bitch. Everybody knows that. We don't need to have a huge discussion about this. Everybody fucking knows it. Let's move forward, all right? Sylvanas is our queen no matter what. Fuck you. I guess not. War for Blood Elves is really easy. I just have a decade subscription to Sunwell Solarium. Love your stream. Yeah, maybe they just got a really, really dark tan. Love your stream. New player thinking about getting into WoW. Can you sell me on it? Can you sign my baby? Can I sell you on WoW? Yeah, you have nothing better to do. You're watching my stream, and you just donated. You're probably already going to play anyway. Just do it. You should look at the rest of Shadowlands models and also check Powermaster's Twitter. He does new tweets. Turns out Jailer's model isn't actually the Jailer, but just some dude named Zolval. The fuck? Okay. Yeah, I'll have to look at that later. Never mind. All right. How much of the story is tied to Covenants at max level? The 4 Covenant campaign stories are very different, but there are some crossover for major story moments, which makes sense. The Covenant campaign is like the War campaign or Artifact quest line. They take you around the world to see different things. The Legion quests were the inspiration for Covenants, which each class received a distinctive storyline. So I think that the Legion class Order Hall quest lines were pretty good, and now that they have them consolidated into just 4 instead of 12, they could probably make a much better quest line than what they did in Legion. I enjoyed going through many of them, and overall, in terms of quest lines, I would rate them pretty highly. Blizzard, all right. How did you create the aesthetics for Shadowlands? Blizzard drew some inspiration from cosmology and how they touched upon death previously in Azeroth. They talked about things like the Scourge, Valkyr, the Emerald Dream, what happens to them, and how to explore that and more. They wanted to create a variety of aesthetics all tied to death. This is a very high fantasy expansion. Yeah, I can tell. Steve wouldn't spoil geographically where the story will go in future patches and zones. That makes sense. In Shadowlands, death is the cosmic power that drives everything. It's not an end, but a beginning. The fuck does that mean? All of the realms are scared because the souls aren't coming, and Shadowlands explores how these creatures break down without souls and the panic sets in. Plot in Shadowlands. Blizzard has set up a long, deep storyline for Shadowlands, and it's long and deep. That's great. And they know how the story ends and how it leads to the things to come, trying to learn from the narrative stumbling blocks of BFA. Well, it's good that they say that, right? Because now we know that they considered the way that they handled BFA as a, a stumble, right? And I think that's definitely a positive thing. Definitely good. They won't do it. I think that they'll probably do a better job than they did in BFA at least. Okay, let's see. Where are we at? Trying to learn from their stumbling blocks. One example to do better. Have less ambiguous moments at the end of patches. They know some people are disappointed with BFA. They want people to feel like at the end of a patch, they are in a cool place and have enough ideas to do cool speculation in a healthy way versus lost and uncertain way. They want to give players more ideas and hints. I think that'll be more exciting because people will have different things to talk about rather than just, trying to take things out of context. Death is a new beginning. That will mean Arthas has a new beginning? I hope not. How big of a deal is the Jailer? It's been fun to throw all of the bad guy eggs into the Jailer after BFA was ambiguous where the villainy was more spread out. Jailer is a central villain whose actions drive the expansion. His metaphorical fingers have been on the move for a very long time. Shadowlands has been suffering for a while, and the Jailer has more allies beyond Sylvanas. The expansion will be driven by the Jailer and how we stop him and what he's after. There's more to him than what first appears. We'll learn more about Shadowlands before. We'll learn more about how Shadowlands was before the Jailer through Oribos questing and stories. So the Jailer isn't even like a permanent figure in Shadowlands. Well, I thought the Jailer predated the Titans. So does that mean the Shadowlands predates the Jailer? Yeah, this is a little bit odd. Jailer's Terran Gore? No, it's not. Nathaniel's going, yeah, obviously the Maw predates the Titans. The Jailer kept Gul'dan as well. Okay. Shadowlands predates Titans, Jailer does not. Okay, well, we'll see. It's been remarked that Oribos and Bastion have Titan aesthetics. Is it likely that we'll see some familiar Titans pop up? Shadowlands delves deeper into the cosmology chart, and this is the chart that we're talking about, by the way. Well, cosmology map. There it is. It's this one right here, and I've showed you guys this picture a couple of times before. I guess this will probably be an easier way to to show people. Let's see, view image. So this shows like kind of the light and then the dark, and then also there's the actual picture itself, which is a little bit easier to understand if you're familiar with the rest of the stuff, right? So life, nature, holy, disorder, order, death, and shadow. So that's pretty much how it's supposed to work, okay? The jailer is Athene's paladin. Okay, so let's move on and we'll read the rest of these. As you learn things in... Oh, wait. We've explored some sections in past expansions like Argus, Disorder. Okay, so Argus is Disorder. Emerald Dream is Life. We've mostly seen Titans through their Azeroth expressions, but we haven't gotten to a proper Titan homeworld? There's a Titan homeworld? What? How can they have a homeworld if they're bigger than planets? It'd be like 5 dudes trying to balance on a basketball. I guess it's got to be really big, right? Yeah, it is really, really big. It's a really big planet. Okay, all right, guys, that makes sense. So that expansion is going to take like 5 years to make. Okay, it makes no sense. They're birthed by planets like Azeroth. Yeah. That's really weird. Yeah, I thought they came out of planets. What the fuck? Okay, whatever. Chronicle introduced a good framework, and Shadowlands, and in Shadowlands, the devs can put meat on bones. Okay. I guess that's cool. You skipped one message. Did I? As you learn things in Shadowlands, you should look at stuff you experienced before through a slightly different lens. Like how Chronicle is written from a point of view of the Titans, and not specifically written by the Titans, though. You'll have a better understanding of the big picture in Shadowlands. I feel like if they want to go with like an unreliable narrator perspective or something like that, I think that's kind of cheap. I don't know, it's just like my opinion. I think that's kind of cheap to do that, but whatever. Yeah, no, Pyro actually assumed that, and I didn't think this was true. So he turned out to be right. Yeah, what they're doing really is they're opening the door for whenever they're gonna have to retcon this current lore 3 years from now. And so it's like, oh yeah, well that was just written by the Titans, so it's actually wrong, and the real way things are supposed to happen is like this. You know, so that's really what it is. I'm getting hemp, bro, not an excuse, what the fuck? I don't know, man. I think it's probably a little bit of both. Okay, Tyrande is searching for answers from Elune. Will she find some peace in the expansion? Tyrande will figure prominently in the Ardenweald storyline, both in 9.0 and some things going forward. Her story is a thread from BFA that just couldn't be wrapped up neatly by the end of the expansion. The loss of the Night Elves is a huge story, and the team wants to give it the proper reverence. Tyrande is also grappling with the huge influx of power tied to being the Night Warrior. There might be some cool cinematics that tug at the heartstrings. I don't want Tyrande to die. Yeah, I don't want to see Tyrande die. I don't want to see Malfurion die either. Yeah, I don't want to see her die. That's going to be fucking depressing. You know, as a Warcraft 3 guy, you know, seeing Tyrande go would be pretty depressing. And it's like, also, like, if you lose Tyrande, like, what other notable Night Elves are there? Jared Shadowsong? Literally nobody gives a fuck about. Maev? Who cares? Illidan? Illidan's like... No, like, Illidan's... Yeah, he's a night elf. But... Come on, man. Illidan should not be the faction leader. Okay? But death is just another beginning. I actually think that, if Tyrande does die, it'll be some sort of thing where, like, let me think of a character that died. What's a character that died and then, like, kind of didn't really become more powerful, but more as, like, an omniscient force in a story? I'm trying to think of something like that. Not like Gandalf. I don't think she's going to come back like Gandalf, for example. Dumbledore, no. I thought of Obi-Wan, but he's basically gone. I don't mean as like a Force ghost, but actually as a Force. Ner'zhul. Medivh. Yeah, like Medivh. Yeah, I think Medivh would probably be like the... Were people fighting? God damn. Let me get away from that. Okay, yeah, something like Medivh. Where she still plays a role in the story, but is like less of a consequential figure. Let's see. Story innovations in Shadowlands. Blizzard is always trying to innovate stories and quest design. Okay. They work with tools to make content faster and cooler than in the past. You can also see similar improvements with cinematics throughout the years. That's true. Will we get as many cinematics in Shadowlands as BFA? Blizzard has planned out story moments, including quests and cinematics, way in advance. Okay. Will the Forsaken be explored a bit more in Shadowlands? It will be part of the story. It is a story that will not be rushed, though. When a kingdom undergoes as much turmoil and change as a Forsaken and BFA, it takes some time for those things to play out. Look, just give us Lordaeron. Like, we'll clean up the green shit, and it'll be great. Is Torghast a system or tied to the story? Well, he's going to say both, obviously. Torghast was designed to be an endless dungeon, but the story leads directly into it. They strive to make sure that it doesn't feel tacked on. Torghast has a Forge of Domination, which was used to craft the Helm of Domination, which was used by the Lich King. It's now broken, and they won't share a specific outcome, but the remaining pieces have some power and purpose in the storyline. All right. What is Bolvar up to? Probably crying. Bolvar is very key to the storyline. Interview hinted that he could play a Magni or Khadgar-esque role in the expansion. So yeah, I can't wait to have my entire expansion be driven by a fucking cuck that got beat by a faction leader. Like, give me a fucking break, dude. Like, I'm so sick of this shit, dude. I'm not a fan about that. Champion wounds? Like, champion heals? Yeah, come on, man. Like, I think that'd be silly as fuck. Like, Khadgar is a badass, dude. Khadgar one-upped Medivh. Khadgar is probably the most badass wizard in the entire story. And Magni is a diamond. So, like, that's cool, too. But, like, Bolvar? What the fuck did Bolvar ever do except for get caught on fire? We got caught on fire and now everybody's supposed to take orders from him? Give me a fucking break. You like the Lich King so much? Why didn't you play DK? It was a very... The reason why I did not swap over to DK in Wrath of the Lich King is because I wouldn't be able to use my Amani Warbear on him. That was the main reason. If I could have used all of my fucking... If I could have had like the same system as we had back then, I would have swapped over to DK back in Wrath of the Lich King. That's the whole reason. Khadgar's literally the Guardian of Azeroth. Wasn't Medivh then passed on to old boy? Yeah, whenever Khadgar beat his ass. Bolvar couldn't look into the Shadowlands with complete clarity before, but he was able to peek beyond the veil, and with his knowledge, he will help us. Okay. Bolvar's past will also be explored as well, as we know that Talia is his daughter, and she doesn't know who her father is. Yeah, that's going to be kind of awkward. Yeah, your dad's the Lich King. Surprise. How did you determine what character returns in the Shadowlands? Okay, let's see. They wanted to fixate on key characters, including some that are living, wanted to avoid bringing back everyone for greatest hits. That's, thank God. I'm very glad they're looking at it from that perspective, because that would be really, really contrived, I think, if they did that. And also just, like, wouldn't seem, like, wouldn't really make a lot of sense. I don't know, it would kind of make sense, but I'm glad they're doing it this way. The choices made are for deliberate reasons. There are lots of stories left to be told. The ones pulled into the Shadowlands to help illuminate the story experience in the Jailer's plot. Steve is overall satisfied with what characters are returning. That's good. Arthas and Kael and Vosh are back, though? Are we sure that Arthas is back? Because, I mean, I've heard people saying this, but I haven't seen any actual confirmation about this. It's, as far as I know, just an assumption. Yeah, I don't know, man. Okay. No, yeah. The next point, literally. Oh, okay, great. I'll just read this here. is Arthas in Shadowlands? Won't answer directly, just focusing on best story possible. Arthas is a fundamental character to the Warcraft IP, and they didn't want to use him in an offhand way to cheapen his storyline. We want to do the right thing by him. Good. Then leave him dead. Like, just leave him dead. That's what I think. I don't think that there should be anything more to Arthas. Just let it be over. Like, the story was good. It you know, there was the rise and the fall, and then it's done. We don't need to, like, bring him back, and then there's some kind of fucking reconciliation, cathartic moment, and it's like, oh, maybe I was wrong picking up the sword, and I didn't really mean what I meant, and I'm so sorry, or, you know, like, give me a fucking break. Please don't do that. Please don't fucking do that. Wasn't good. Wrath of the Lich King ruined Arthas. No, it didn't. Okay. Will the events of Shadowlands reverberate through Azeroth and beyond, or stay contained? Yeah, it's going to be contained. We all know it's going to be contained. Okay. Let's go ahead and move forward. The things characters go through on personal levels will resonate beyond, such as Tyrande and BFA continued forward. Okay. There are big implications for many characters that we know and love. This may also impact various kingdoms of Azeroth moving forward. Expansion philosophy now doesn't limit a story to one expansion. Yeah, well, with Old Gods, it limits it to one patch. So here's the thing. I would love to see a big shakeup. I think that they do need to do a big shakeup. And the way that I think they could do a big shakeup is by giving the Alliance Lordaeron. Listen. That's what would happen. And what they do, they burn down Stormwind. Let's get Deathwing out of the Shadowlands, bring him back to Azeroth, be like, finish it off. He destroys Stormwind, and it's like, okay, now we've got to go over to Lordaeron. And we have the real city, and we find out that Anduin's actually Arthas' son, and we have Anduin sitting on the throne again, and everything's back to the way it should be. We retake the Holy Land. There it is. Okay, that would be great. Varian got cucked? Yeah, I mean, let's be real. It's like the story is... Just pretend it's like Game of Thrones. You know, just pretend it's like Game of Thrones. How's that different from bringing back Arthas? Because it's not Arthas. Like, what do you mean? Because it's not Arthas. The story for Lordaeron, it's not done. I would love to see the Alliance have Lordaeron back as a city. Okay? Like, I feel like that would be like a return to form. Be like, alright, now I feel better about myself. Who gives a shit about the Alliance? You know what? Who gives a shit about Orgrimmar? No one. It's a bunch of mud huts and garbage until Garrosh actually fixed it up. And now it somehow looks worse. Orgrimmar is a shithole. Thunderbluff is a hill. Undercity is poisoned. And even before then it was shit. What are the other capitals they have? The Trolls don't even have a capital. They've got an island. And literally some huts. Silvermoon? Listen, Blizzard cares so little about Silvermoon, it's still 2D. Nobody gives a shit. Blood Elves aren't part of the Horde anyway, it's fucking stupid. Alright, let's go ahead and read the rest of these. Let's see. Characters. Alright, this is here. How many expansions are you planning in advance? We like to keep an eye on the horizon and plan ahead. Oh, wow, okay. However, they like to see what players gravitate to and adjust to. We have a long-term plan, but they like to stay flexible. So if players really like something, they'll try to, you know, put more of it in the game, but they have like an overall plan too. That's good. Alright, let's see here. Will the sword disappear from Silithus? The sword has a part to play in something to come. Well, how are they going to get rid of the sword? It's really big. Like, I don't... Like, what are they going to do with it? Like, I don't see, like, what they could do with the sword. Disenchant the sword? That's a good idea. This is a really good idea. Just disenchant the sword. I'm actually surprised that they didn't do something where, like, you could take some... Because, like, you think about it, right? And the guy... Oh, there's a rare over there. I'm going to go kill him in a bit. The jailer uses a sword? No, the sword is, like, fucking 10 times bigger than the jailer is. There's no way. The jailer is not going to wield the sword. Okay? It's not going to happen. But, like, if you could take, like, pieces of the metal and use the pieces of the metal from Sargeras' sword to make your own fucking dark sword, that'd be badass. Only 10 times? Probably even more than that. Yeah, you disenchant it, and you get a Nexus Crystal and 5 Expulsum. Let's see. Will Azeroth ever be born? Wait and see. Okay. Will Azeroth ever be... Wait and see. These two questions are very interchanged. Azeroth will wield the sword. No, how can Azeroth wield the sword? If Azeroth becomes an actual Titan, don't we all die? Because it's like an egg. You know whenever a chicken hatches out of an egg? It breaks the egg. You see what I mean? Like, Titans are like, they're like chickens. Not necessarily. Yeah, they do. Like, what do you mean? We'll live on the Titan. I don't want to... No, that's weird. She wakes up and we go to Shadowlands. What if that's what happened? Because in Bastion, they were so intent on telling us all that we were dead. And what if Azeroth did wake up and we are actually all dead? Are we living in a simulation? What the fuck? That'd be crazy if they did that. Dude, that would be fucking awesome. I don't know if Blizzard has the balls to do that. Everybody is... Yeah, lost finale. Well, even that was better than the ending of BFA, so I'm happy about that. Okay. Let's see. Whenever Argus the Titan was born, you could still walk on Argus. No, it's... like... Listen. I don't even... Like, how did he just randomly spawn in the Panther? Like, I don't even know how the fuck that happened. Like, I really... we gotta get Pyromancer or somebody on here to fucking explain. I've gotta write down some questions and be like, okay, how the fuck do we fight Argus? How's he only this big? Yeah, Argus was tearing apart. Yeah, Argus, like, look at Argus. Like, where's a picture of Argus? Where is it? Not this Argus. It's the wrong Argus. Where's the planet? Scrolling down. Okay. What the fuck is this? That's Pandaren? Oh my fucking god, dude. Okay, let me see. Arthas planet. Yeah. Maybe it could have come out of, like, that hole. You know? It was like a C-section or something. You know what I mean? Makes sense. Like, I'm still mad that Argus wasn't bigger. I wish that Argus had been like a larger part of the game. Oh, that's fucking badass. I never even noticed that. At this planet, yeah, nice red scythe. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Nice fucking band. Just give me a second. Let me get rid of this. Stargaris sticked his dick in it. So does that mean he has yellow cum? Let's read the rest of the interview. Is the lore team consulted on customization options? The team was consulted on various options to determine if they were appropriate or not for the lore and universe. They are 100% on board with all of the options. Really? Like all of them? So I can think of a few of them that are a little fucking silly, but okay. The team wants Azeroth to be a place where you can express yourself. Okay, great. Alright. Will everyone who begins this expansion alive be alive by the end? Life and death have different meanings in the Shadowlands, so wait and see. Okay. If you use a Wildhammer tattoos, are you part of that clan? Seeing as you start in the Bronzebeard starting experience. It's complex. You can't make a starting experience for every if you wear blue shoelaces, you're not a Crip. Of course not. The fuck is this? I can't make a starting experience for every subset. It would consume so many resources. You have the freedom of your mind of a role player to do how you'd like. Okay, yeah, you just roleplay it. No, this is the thing is, like, where I live, like, I live in a pretty poor area. And people in my area, they can't afford masks for coronavirus. So everybody's just walking around wearing bandanas. Like, it's actually pretty fucking funny. It's like a gangster movie or something like that. It's like at Walmart, there's just fucking people with like all fucking bandanas on. Masks don't work, by the way. Well, you know, I'm sure they work more than not having one. I don't know, though. Probably should ask a doctor and not a Twitch streamer about that. Okay, let's see here. Here's the way I feel about this. So the sword could have woken up Azeroth and killed everyone. And we're actually in the Shadowlands for a real reason. Because we are all dead. No, BFA did happen. The sword impregnated Azeroth. Wow. That's what I've been saying? I bet it was. BFA was just a dream? Nightmare. This world is a prison. Does that mean Sylvanas was trying to save us all by having us all go to the Shadowlands? I don't know. Like, they could play this in, like, a couple of, like, really, really interesting, cool ways. I just hope that... I hope that by the end of it, it is something cool like that. And it's not like, okay, yeah, we went there, we beat that dude's ass, and then it's done. You know what I mean? No fucking not making it worse possible. I just want to see Blizzard, like, I think, in my opinion, there are a couple of things I think Blizzard should have done. I think Blizzard should have killed Thrall in WoD. I think that, I thought it was a ballsy move having Sylvanas kill Sarfang. I like that a lot. No, they should have. Imagine how badass that would have been, right? You have Thrall, after everything, comes all the way over to Draenor, and he fights Garrosh head-to-head, one-on-one. Garrosh fucking beats his ass. Why is that? Because Thrall at that point was a bald-ass bitch, and Garrosh was the war chief of the fucking Horde. Okay? Like, players need to take an L for once. Yeah, in an interesting way. And so, yeah. And even though, like, Thrall would have done his best, and Garrosh still would have fucking killed him. That would have made Garrosh a guaranteed enemy. Garrosh did nothing wrong. Of course he didn't. That's why he should have won. Garrosh can't win because warriors can never win in fights. I fucking know that. Okay? Like, being a warrior is, like, literally... Like, in the lore, being a warrior is, like, being the most cucked class in all of fucking... In all the game. The main thing that warriors had to be proud of is the fact that Broxagar got a hit on Sargeras. And it wasn't even because of Broxagar. It was the axe. That was made by somebody else. I mean... You're the most cucked class ever. Garrosh didn't have any hair either? Yeah, but he shaved it off. That's different. Varian Wren? Wow, Varian Wren killed a Fell Reaver. And then he got killed by trash mobs that people AoE farmed at a 7.2 patch for nether shards. Yeah, that was really impressive. Yeah, absolutely incredible.